One of the strangest trainer classes in Pokemon is the Hex Maniac. Strange especially because of this moment.
No, you're not the one.
Most people think this girl here might have been a ghost, but I want to tell you she is much more than that. She has changed the trajectory of the strangest Pokemon trainer class forever. And with that, I will prove to you that the Hex Maniacs aren't just ghost type fanatics, they are a cult. Now many a fan of Pokemon don't remember the first Hex Maniacs to ever be featured in the Pokemon franchise. In Mount Pyre and Lily Cove in Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby, we saw these girls that were dressed as witches. Quite the start, but they drastically changed their appearance from that of an occultic witch to a haunting goth ghost girl. But why did they suddenly start dressing like this ghost? To understand that, we must firstly go a bit deeper into the original Hoenn ghost fanatics. Now back in the early games of Pokemon, there were only two main archetypes of ghost-loving trainers, these being the Hex Maniacs that I just mentioned, and the Channelers from the first generation. Both trainers specialized in ghost-type Pokemon and were very drawn to this kind of thing. So much so that the Channelers themselves would often appear to be possessed in their appearances. This gets further confirmed by dialogue when they say that they were possessed during battle. This parallel isn't lost on the Hex Maniacs either, as in the Japanese releases of Ruby and Sapphire, they had whited out glowing eyes, which obviously signified that they were under the control of the dead. This process of allowing ghosts to possess them is called voluntary possession or channeling. Now, with the fact that the channelers themselves disappeared from Pokemon games after Gen 1, we could easily call these Hex Maniacs the sort of spiritual successors of their occult practice. Possession in itself isn't the only thing the Hex Maniacs are known for, but since this event, it's been a consistent occurrence for them to mention the special line by the Lumio City Ghost Girl. A Hex Maniac from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire brings up the statement, and even in Legends ZA, another Hex Maniac wonders about the meaning of this saying. It seems this group has adopted another central thing to their assembly. But why has this line become so important? Well, I think the answer lies in this strange little fact. The fact that for a whole 2 generations before this, the Hex Maniacs had disappeared without a trace. They could have actually faded out of existence like the Channelers, and I think the reason they came back is all right here on this bridge. All the way back in Pokemon Black and White, there is a very popular bridge. This architectural marvel is beautiful, but while crossing it in this game, you get to see a lot of different NPCs, both during and even in the post game. But only one of them have an insanely strange interaction. This little girl here, once you walk up to her, she immediately disappears. Now, you could easily write this off as some weird glitch, but this is real, because even the NPC in-game notices that she's disappeared. This forges a new mystery that only an old lady on the entrance of the bridge could start to unravel. She tells us a short story about a sweet young girl who used to play with her Abra on this bridge, all until a fateful day when she disappeared. That's what is known to the public in the first Black and White games, but what actually happened has a lot to do with Darkrai. In Pokemon Black and White 2, it is revealed that when this girl was alive, Darkrai himself trapped her in an eternal nightmare. We don't know the reason why, but we know that it kept her asleep for a long time. Her parents worried about her so much and sought out everything that could save their daughter, even stumbling upon a legendary item known as the Lunar Wing, a feather from the legendary Pokemon Cresselia. Now Cresselia is referred to in Pokemon lore as the other half of the Lunar Duo along with Darkrai. So if there's anyone who could wake this girl from an eternal slumber, is definitely the other half of who caused it. While hopes were riding high, by the time they actually got this item, it was already too late for the girl. She had already passed away. But in her death, she still possessed the feather. And that leads her to her new mission, which is to return the Lunar Wing to its rightful owner. That is why she's on the Marvelous City Bridge, because in Black 2, when the protagonist does get the Lunar Wing, that's exactly where you should go to find Cresselia. You see, I believe that this girl is the same ghost girl that we saw in Lumio City, and also the same ghost girl who had revived the Hex Maniacs. I think that over the years while she roamed, her form changed. This isn't normal for ghosts to grow and have a new outfit, but ones with magical artifacts certainly could have an unpredictable outcome. I think in order for her spirit to handle the lunar wing for so long, her energies had begun to match that of Darkrai, becoming a sort of lunar duo to the artifact itself. And as the green wing maintained the essence of Cresselia, it changed the way this sweet girl looked into that of a dark spirit. And on her quest searching for someone to return the lunar wing, she met up on the remnants of the Hex Maniacs. And here's where everything took a turn. When she met them, she deemed them as unworthy of carrying out her final wish. And she said, "No, you are not the one." And just like that, she disappeared. This kind of spiritual meeting revived the group to levels that it had never seen before. They began to dress like her. They changed all of their outfits. They repeated her words to those who would dare talk to them. They searched for this vague character known as the One, and they continued to seek out spirits and give them their bodies. Not aimlessly like the channelers or even the old Hex Maniacs, but they did this in hopes that one day this ghost girl would return and speak through them. So now that makes me think that maybe every Hex Maniac that we've battled wasn't just trying to defeat us, but maybe every time they looked us in the eyes, they were hoping that we were the one.